instruments from ancient Greek look similar to each other, and most of them belong to the same family, lyra family. Lyra family includes lyres, phonix, cythera, and many others. The most widely used and popular string instrument in ancient Greece was a lyre, and it was played not only by professional musicians. Lyre was mainly used for the musical education of the young and by amateur players in general. It was a symbol of Apollo and was originally called chellos because of the tortoise shell used as its soundbox. In the Greek myths, god Hermes invented it and later gave it to Orpheus. The strings were made of animal gut of sinew, but there were also references of strings made of liane and hemp. Phonix was another musical instrument that was primarily used as part of young people's education. It could be characterized as the national instrument of ancient Greeks. From references in ancient sources, we know that phonix was considered to be a sacred instrument, and it was richly decorated with gold and ivory. It was often accomplished the singing of epic singers called rhapsodes. Cythera was bigger than lyra, and it was the principal concert instrument played by professional musicians. Many instruments names like guitars, synthers, zither, etc. derive from the word cythera. Barbitos is also an instrument of the lyra family, only with longer arms and narrower soundbox. There are other instruments like epigonium and psaltery, who belongs to the harp family. Epigonium is the instrument with the largest number of strings, sometimes as many as 40.
Reed instruments. The Tale of the Aulos. Marsyas the satyr found the aulos after Athena had cast it down from heaven. She was angered by it because when she played it, it puffed out her cheeks and marred her beauty. Marsyas became a skilled aulos player, and in his hubris challenged Apollo, the god of music, to a duel. Winner got to do whatever he liked to the loser. They both played beautifully in the first round, but in the second round, Apollo played his lyre upside down. Marsyas couldn't play the aulos upside down, and he lost the duel. Apollo strung him to a tree and flayed him alive. The Tale of the Panpipes. Pan fell in love with the nymph Syrinx, and he chased her down to rape her. Syrinx prayed to Zeus to save her, and Zeus turned her into reeds. Pan smashed the reeds in his anger, but then, filled with grief, brought the pieces to his lips to kiss them. His breath made sound through the reeds, and thus the panpipes were born.
While few in numbers, the Greeks did play brass instruments. The salpinx, a trumpet-like instrument, was best known for its large sound and ability to signal large crowds. Often used to commence athletic events and indicate military commands, this instrument has existed since the times of Homer. The salpinx was widely recognized during the Olympic Games in Greece. Trumpet-playing contests were held during the games in which players were judged based on how loud they could play their salpinx. Another brass instrument is the keras, which is also known as a poor man's horn. The keras was constructed from a conical horn in which the bone core was removed and then baked to improve its sound quality. In order to produce sound, the keras player would blow directly into the hole with suitable lip positioning. This instrument was often used by armies for the transmission of messages and by shepherds to round up their animals.
Pythagoras, a 6th century BC Greek philosopher and mathematician, was also a leading pioneer in the field of music. He often prescribed music as a treatment for different afflictions, including drunkenness and depression. Observing that different notes were created when a blacksmith struck an anvil with varying weights of hammers, he concluded that proportionality was key in the production of music. Pythagoras divided the length of strings to form ratios. A 1:2 ratio he called an octave, a 2:3 ratio he called a fifth, and a 3:4 ratio he called a fourth. From that, he formed the Greek musical notation of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, which can be summarized in this sound. Aside from string harmony, Pythagoras also connected music and astronomy. From his geocentric view of the solar system, he taught that the 7 planets that orbited the Earth each had a unique note, much like string divisions. Although human beings' ordinary ears are incapable of hearing this cosmic musica mundana, or music of the spheres, Pythagoras believed that this music governed the natural universe by dictating the cycle of life and natural order.
Percussion instruments were very important to the Greeks. They had 4 primary percussion instruments: cymbals, or kimbala, which were symmetrical bronze discs that could be clapped together to produce sound; sistrums, which were metallic rods with metal loops that could be shaken to produce sound; clappers, or crotala. These were 2 pieces of something that were loosely attached at the end, usually by a leather strap, that could be attached to the fingers and clapped together to produce a noise. And most importantly, the frame drum, or the tympanon. These were medium-sized drums, approximately 12 to 16 inches in diameter. These drums most often had hide heads, with the most common materials being goat or cow skin. The sides of the frame drums were often elaborately painted, and they were most commonly played with people's hands, not sticks. Greek percussion instruments are believed to be inspired by several cultures, including the Anatolian, Minoan Crete, Phoenician Cyprus, and Egyptian cultures. Percussion instruments likely predate melodic instruments in Greece, and their tunes from the rhythm that the percussion provided. Percussion instruments were also important to the Delphic oracles, who were highly revered in Greece for their prophecies. Frame drums were believed to be key in inducing the prophetic trance that the oracles used. The rhythm of percussion instruments was also integral to many Greek dances. These dances often had pivotal roles in warfare and religious ceremonies, particularly in those dedicated to Dionysus, who himself was often depicted as playing a frame drum, and thus his followers associated very closely with it and other percussion instruments. These religious dances were eventually incorporated into shows that developed into the Greek theater, and throughout the existence of the theater, dances with heavy percussion basses were continually used.